Hello, hello, bienvenidos. Welcome to another episode of Hoy en Día TV. I am your host, Yessi Rodriguez, bringing you another amazing episode to inspire, educate, enlighten, entertain, and just be here with you all for another mind fulfilling episode. Yes, as per usual, because that's what we do here, right? And I'm going to bring out my co host, Manny Morales. Welcome to the stage, Manny.
Hola, ¿cómo está? Bendiciones, mi gente, bendiciones. Sorry I wasn't here last week. I was not feeling good. I apologize.
It's all good. How are you feeling today? That's
I'm
what matters.
good. I'm good. Not only was it like physical, but it was mental as well. So it was like I had a thing that I did and I was blocked, so to speak. And I did a lot of work to get there, and it was like when I was denied, it was like a big letdown. And we're all human, so it's like I really felt like I don't want to say a failure, but I feel like I failed. And then I had to get back to a good state of mind. You know what I'm saying, and just give myself some affirmations and tell myself that even though that door closed for you, like five other doors open. So it doesn't even matter. And then later on, you might be able to revisit and have that door open for you. So, I just want people to know that it doesn't matter what walk of life you are, um, or what you're going through. We all go through, disappointments, depression, upsets, emotions. Everybody's carrying emotional baggage. It's just how you deal with it. So we all go through something.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the good thing is that you acknowledge that and you are in a good spirit today. I can see you're
Right.
smiling, you're
Yeah.
happy,
I
better
feel better.
spirit. That's what is important because you're not manifesting in that negative energy. You
Right.
know you saw what life was trying to teach you at that point and you were like, how can I take the bull by the horns and keep it going?
Right. Right. And like I said, two other doors open when that one closed. So I'm exploring those avenues right now,
Mhm.
and who knows how far I'm gonna go. So I just, regardless if you get denied or you have a road bump in the road, don't give up. That's what I just want everybody to know. Never give up on yourself, because nobody's going to be the biggest cheerleader for you but yourself. So don't ever give up on yourself. And there's going to be times where it's going to be difficult and you're going to have that um, depression creep up, but you got to kind of keep a level head and stay focused on what you're trying to do, because if you let yourself fall into that hole, you're just going to go backwards. And I'm not ready to go backwards. I'm trying to go forwards. I'm not trying to go back to where I started. This isn't Monopoly. You know what I'm saying? Go back to go. No, we're not going to do that. So,
Right. No, I feel you. And I'm glad that you did bring that concept up just regarding mental health overall, because mental
right,
health does include emotional, psychological, and social well-being, right? It affects how we think, feel, and act, and it also helps determine how we handle the stress,
right,
relate to others, and just overall make healthy, positive choices in our life. And so mental health is important at every stage of our life, which starts from childhood and grows into the adolescent phases and adulthood. So a lot of what we learn from childhood, I've noticed that when I speak to people, there is some sort of correlation with, oh, when I was a kid, this is what happened, and now in adult, you're feeling this way. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about that? Do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree. Like when I was younger, like I was depressed all the time. I was always overweight when I was a kid, so that was a problem for me,
Okay.
especially in school. So I know what a lot of these kids go through in school, and it was tough for us. Nowadays, it's even worse. Like it's not. Kids are don't have no chill. Like they don't care about anything. Like they'll say whatever because they want you to hurt, and
Right.
that's not cool. But now that I'm an adult, after going through a lot of the things that I've been through in my life, um, I still um, feel that emotional depression, but I recognize it and I don't let it affect me like it did when I was younger. So um, I've learned a lot as I've grown up, and it does, and it also helps to have people that truly care about your well-being in your corner, and you reach out to them and they are there, you know, give you positive vibes and pray for you and stuff like that. So it's always good to have people that like-minded people, should I say?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so just some of the recommendations that I came across, I went under the um, National Institute of Mental
Hmm.
Health.gov, and some of the recommendations on how to handle mental health overall is regular exercises. So take about 30 minutes if you need a walk, decompress. That does help boost your mood, your energy, and also improves your health. So
Right.
that's a plus there. Eating healthy. So believe it or not, what you intake in your food does affect your mind, your noggin, your brain. So making sure to eat balanced diet meals, like good balanced diets, right?
Hmm.
And stay hydrated. Water. I've noticed that a lot of in the research I've done, there's a correlation between water intake or dehydration, so to speak, to
Right.
how you feel overall. And I do agree with that. That to me makes sense because our body is primarily made up of water.
Right.
Um, and then sleep. Sleep is definitely important. I know I love my sleep when I can get it, right?
Yes.
Sleep is definitely necessary. It's similar. The correlation I have there is like your cell phone, right? Once your cell phone goes bad, you can't use it no more because you got to charge it up. Our
Right.
body has to do the same thing. We got to charge up just like the cell phone does. um,
Exactly.
Relaxing activities. So one of my favorite relaxing activities that I love, and some people may look at me and be like, really? I love listening to classical music. Like I love dimming the lights, turning on candles, or even when I'm taking a shower and just dimming the lights and listening to classical music.
Right.
Chopin, number nine is one of my favorite classical, Beethoven. It's just
Hmm.
something with instruments and just feeling and just
Right.
closing your eyes, you get into that moment and it's just like, ah, you relax, you
Right.
decompress, you let it go. So that's one of
Exactly.
my favorite relaxing activities. Do you have a favorite relaxing activity that you like to do?
Um, Yes, working out was one of them. When I
Okay.
was feeling that depression, I went to the gym, and it totally changed my mood. Like I felt so much better. I also listen to classical music, but I listen to all different types of music. It just depends on what
Mhm.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
I listen to classical and like jazz when I'm writing,
Okay.
because it kind of gives me more inspiration. But like when I'm doing graphic design and stuff like that, I listen to all types of music. Lately, I've been on a reggae kick, but
Ah,
I listen to hip
okay.
hop or all types of different music. So yeah,
Okay, cool, cool. And some of the other ones that I came across regarding just self care overall and mental health balances, setting goals and priorities,
right,
practicing gratitude, focus
okay,
on the positive or positivity, and overall just staying connected. So, those are just some of the pointers and recommendations that we have here. We wanted to share with
right,
you all if you are dealing with a similar situation or just life is just not feeling the way you feel it should.
right,
There are different ways to get out of that funk. So it's
right.
okay. Buddy.
Touching base on that, staying connected. Now, it's good to stay connected and to reach out to people. But if they're in the same mind state that you are, I don't think it's a good idea to reach out to them because y'all are
Um,
just be wallowing in misery together. Like, oh, woe is me, but no, woe is me, but no, woe is me. You know. So try to reach out to people that are going to actually uplift you and get you out of the hole instead of saying, "Hey, stay with me in this hole because it's safer." That's not a
I'm
good thing.
so glad you brought that up. And thank you for bringing that up. I agree with you
I mean,
wholeheartedly.
I could reach out to you and you could, uplift me, but then I could reach out to one of my homeboys or something like, oh man, yeah, I'm going through the same thing, and my girl left me, and I don't have a job, and so we're both, wallowing in our own, depression and
Yeah.
sadness. That's not a good conversation.
You are correct. So,
Right,
yep, I agree. So, and Manny's suggestion is be mindful of who you reach out to and who you
right,
stay connected. because that could affect you even more and make you like if like Manny was sharing if they're in a similar or worse situation. I guess it just determines the eye of the beholder who's worse because
right.
each person has their own interpretation of what's worse. Nevertheless, if you're both in an uncomfortable situation, maybe it's not a good idea to be
No,
conversing in negative
no.
situations. So yeah. Well, pivoting over, I came across this interesting article because I have a good amount of friends that are raising toddlers and
Okay.
kids and children. And so apparently, a daycare worker out in Massachusetts, Chelsea Park, Massachusetts, working at Phoenix Academy Charter Public Schools, left a toddler at a park. Like I don't understand. I'm
Wow.
really confused as to how could that have happened. But I came across this on NBCBoston.com.
All right.
And so apparently from what the mother was sharing, the toddler was left behind at the park while under the supervision of his daycare worker.
Mm-hmm.
They're still trying to determine what happened, but about an hour after the child was left at the park, about 500 feet from the school, one of the toddler's teachers found the toddler in the supervision of an adult from another daycare. And
Oh
so this
wow.
is really, really mind-boggling because a lot of parents are trusting when we're
Right.
signing their kids up
Right.
for daycare that you're going to be taking care of our kids.
Right.
Like, that boggles my mind, and that really concerns me. Like
Right.
maybe it's time to change mindsets, and that's why I always say, my recommendation is consider other alternatives. Like if you have friends that are raising toddlers versus investing in these daycares, if some like this is going to happen, take that money and invest in a tutor. Like
Right.
you
Mm-hmm.
like how they have ride share, do house share, where today the kids are at your house, whether it be 5 or 6 kids, all parents come
Right.
together, pitch in a couple, money or whatever it is, and invest in 1 or 2 tutors so that they can learn. They can be watched. You have
Mm-hmm.
cameras at your house, so in case anything happens, everything is right there. There's really ways to think outside the box.
Right.
And
Right.
I honestly feel that by coming together as a unit with different individuals with like mindsets, you're going to save money because you
Right.
don't have to, one person doesn't have to worry about spending close to 2 grand just on one child a
Right.
month. Now you're pitching in with like-minded individuals. You're investing in 1 or 2 tutors to teach your kids
Right.
in the comfort of your home or whoever's home, and they're going to be safe. I mean, that's just my food for thought. What about you?
Right.
What do you think?
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna play devil's advocate. So
Okay.
I understand how you feel about the toddler being left at school because that's I mean in the park because that's detrimental because somebody could have taken them and they would have been gone. But
Right.
at the same time, um, you do sign a authorization form, but at the same time, these people are still human, and we don't know how many children she had under her care, how rowdy these children are, how she had to corral the other children, what she had going on in her personal life that she might have brought to work with her. But in general, it's not good that she left them. But
Mhm.
um, there has to be an underlying issue because I mean, unless the toddler is bad, they're not going to leave the child in the park. So it might have been just a miss, like she missed it. You know what I'm saying? And then going to the um, tutoring in your home. And I get that, and that's a good idea. But then the child doesn't develop the social skills that they might need in the world because granted they'll have 4 or 5 kids there, but those are the only kids that they're going to socialize with. They're not going to be able to socialize with different other kids. So what if when they get into the world they're like, you know this kid's weird, I don't want to socialize with them. Or sometimes like you could have a bunch of white kids and then they run across a black kid and be like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on? Why is he so dark? You know what I'm saying?
That's so
So
funny.
that's another reason why daycares are good, and schools. It's not just for education of the basic math, science, all that stuff. It's social skills. Because this world is so diverse. Um, you have to learn how to socialize with all different types of races. because if you don't, you're going to be awkward, you know. So yeah,
Although I agree with what you're saying, I'm gonna play devil's advocate to what you're saying now, right? Because I see your point, but I'm gonna peel the onion just a little bit more. This is more
right,
just food for thought because we're having a
right,
conversation. That's why there's extracurricular activities like taekwondo, like soccer, like
that is
baseball,
true.
like
That
softball,
is
like basketball, like football. You can put your kids into these
right,
extracurriculars because you're going to come across diverse households.
right,
The only difference is that now you're in a common ground where whether you be in a football team, you get to know each other because you're going to socialize with different people from all walks of life.
right,
And from what I know, what I've seen, you travel to different states. You know, if you're in championships and stuff like that, so
right.
you're able to interact with different individuals.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's where I was coming from with regards to like homeschooling is like
Right,
looking at the bigger picture. Where yeah, I agree with you. Making sure that your child is socially coherent and not socially awkward is
right,
absolutely important because
right.
we don't want our children out here to be eaten up alive by all these interesting individuals
Right.
that we come
Exactly.
across. Um,
Exactly.
but then even after what happened last week in Georgia, that shooting in the high school, you can't even go to school in peace without being worried that
I
something's
know.
going to happen.
I
I mean,
know.
that's giving me more ammo to say, yeah, no, I have a double master's degree. I'm going to teach my child myself because I'm sure my child's going to learn more from me than many other people, right?
And that's a lot of people's mentality these days, and I get it. You know, I get it. Like school wasn't that bad. Like, well, where I was raised, like it was bad. Philadelphia was
Okay.
definitely bad, but um, it's gotten so much worse. Like I just don't understand. Kids are bringing guns to school, and they have so much hate, and it's just going back to the mental health. Like you don't know what they're going through at home. They might be getting abused by their parents, and this is the way that they're letting off their anger or their stress, on other people because they don't know. They're scared of the people at their home, and they don't want to, you know, invoke violence at home, so they do it at school, or they see violence at home and they think that that's what you're supposed to do. You know.
Right.
So it's just sad the way people are raising their children these days, and not everybody, but there's a majority of people that are raising their children or not raising their children, should I say, and letting them see all types of crazy stuff because they want to live their lives. It's
Yep.
just it's
Yep.
wild. But at the same time, we could die waking up. So I mean, I can keep going on and on, but it's always a chance. Everything is a chance,
Absolutely.
and as long as you are on this, favor on the side of God, and have faith, you know, like I told you off camera, my kid's apostle, from church, he was in a really bad car accident and passed away. He was faithful to God every day, but when it's your time, it's your time. You we don't have a choice in that matter. So
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. Yo veo tu punto y entiendo completamente lo que tú me estás diciendo.
right,
Because yeah, every day we wake up, we just don't know, and even many people may not even wake up. I had an uncle who um, he passed away in his sleep, and
oh,
it was obviously for my grandmother,
right,
and this is when he lived in Puerto Rico. So people who live in Puerto Rico understand that the medical, unless you live in certain areas of Puerto Rico, like the doctors and providers are not as how should I say it, as up to date as how we are
right,
here in the States.
exactly, exactly,
Um, I get it. Life is absolutely a chance, and we just got to pray every day for the best. That's why I always talk about karma because when you put positivity in the universe, and when it is time for you for your time to come up, right, your clock is ticking. At least
hmm
you know that you're going to get that positive karma back because you did your
right,
best to be a good person in life.
exactly,
So,
exactly,
but yeah, and talking about life, we're going to transition over to our special guest who helps
right,
with financial planning. Am I
right,
correct?
exactly. Yes,
That's correct.
yes,
Yes, financial planning because life. I mean, hey, we have now, as we know, we need money to keep going. I mean, that's just
yes.
how
And
it goes.
by the numbers that she shows people on a daily basis you need a lot of money to survive. A lot of money to
Ah,
survive. Yes.
Manny, I
So
know this is a guest that you invited on, so if you would do us the
yes.
honor to do a soft intro for
All right.
this lovely guest, and then we can allow her to elaborate on who she is.
Okay. So we are about to introduce a young lady that I met probably about a year now.
Mhm.
And she is an advocate for helping people better their futures. Um, she is she is a partner with Wealth Wave and How Money Works. Let's bring on Miss Tanisha Lafayette. It is French. It's French.
Ah, vous avez pour français?
Hey.
Oh,
Hey,
Tanisha!
hey,
Bienvenue!
comment allez-vous?
Ah, très bien.
So how are
Um,
you today, young lady? We
Yeah,
love your hair,
muy
by the way.
bien, muy bien.
We
Thank
love
you.
your hair, by the way.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
Bienvenida a Hoy en Día TV. We are happy to have you here, and
Yes.
you bring a wealth of knowledge that you're going to be sharing with us today. But first, let's get to know who is Miss Tanisha Lafayette.
Yes.
Well, I was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. I wanted to be grown before my time, so I was a teen mama at 17. But
Okay,
I'm so glad I had my son at that young age because he's ahead of his time. Like he's ahead of his peers. Like he's about to be 31, is already almost a millionaire.
that's amazing. That
That
Okay.
is
is
amazing.
So I was a journalist for a decade. I was a sports writer. And so
Mhm,
I realized if I remained a sports writer, there was no pension working for the newspaper. Pensions,
mhm,
you work somewhere for 30, 40 years and they pay you, every month to the day that you die, a pension.
mhm.
So when I found out no pension being a journalist and that most people retire broke, depending on family, charity, the government take care of us. And I found out that Social Security be bankrupt before I can even get Social Security. So I'm like, things aren't looking good for me right now. And the future's looking
right.
worse. So
Exactly.
I decided to take control of my finances and my future. I bet on myself, in other words. And that was 19 years ago, and it's worked out very well for me and my family betting on myself rather than a job.
Right.
So,
That is awesome. So, what did you do to start transitioning into that type of mindset or lifestyle? Like understanding, getting the aha moment, the light bulb just went on, and you realize, okay, financial planning is key. How did you get acquainted with that?
well, so when I saw my future flash before my eyes, that again, Social Security be bankrupt before I'm even 62.
Right.
Right.
And you get Social Security at 66, 67, but
Hmm.
it was going to be bankrupt by the time I'm 58. So I'm like, I won't even get Social Security, but it's coming out of my check every month.
Every week. Every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah,
So,
every
did
week,
you
right? Every
do?
paycheck.
Right.
And
So you
then to
did
find
research?
out that most people work all their life just to be
Hmm.
poor.
I think we lost her. She's frozen.
Okay. And then to
You
find
there with us?
out,
And she's back.
hello?
Back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you're frozen.
It's
Oh,
frozen
well,
still on
it's
my end.
raining.
I
Well,
hear
it's
her.
raining over here. So, yeah. Can you see
Ah,
me
Oh,
now?
yeah.
yeah. We can see you. It's just frozen. There you go.
There you
Hey,
go.
she's back.
Oh, okay.
And you're frozen again.
Really? Because I'm
There
not
you go.
frozen on my
You're
end.
going slow. You're going slow. It's raining. So, audience, it's raining here. It's been raining for like the past 2 weeks here in Jacksonville.
Wow.
So, earlier when I was at the meeting with her, it was like pouring down and then it slowed down and then it's pouring again and then it slowed down. It's just really crazy here right now. So, excuse the interruptions. But anyway, what were you saying, Miss Lafayette?
Yeah, so basically, I just saw my future flash before my eyes that most people are poor by the time they reach retirement. And I mean, I was already broke making 20 an hour, and this was 20 years ago. So I just decided to read a lot and educate myself, and I switched industries to the financial industry since I saw that the industry didn't give me a pension. I'm like, well, let me switch to the number one industry in the world, which is the financial industry.
Right.
And
Most
so
people
that's
think it's
what I did
retail.
20 years ago.
Definitely not.
It's what? Most people think what?
It's retail, but it's definitely not. 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 It's retail, but it's definitely not.
It's what? Most people think what? Yeah, retail's number three, then real estate, and then number one is the financial services
Right.
industry.
Right.
Because we all work for
Wow.
what? Money's why we all work. We're all handling money, dealing with money, saving money, investing money, spending money, protecting money. So yeah, so
Right.
money is the number one industry in the world. So I'm happy to help the regular people, because there's people in this industry that go to college and get a finance degree to work for like Merrill Lynch and Goldman Sachs and all that. That's to work with rich people. But majority
Mhm.
of America is not rich. Who's going to help them?
That
Exactly.
part. That
Right.
part. And that's where you come in. That's where
Right.
you
That's
Yeah,
come in.
that's
come.
where I come in. So whether the person has $10 or $10 million, we can help them.
That's
Right.
beautiful. And so tell the audience a little bit about, or as much as you want, about the what you offer, where you come into the play in this financial mindset.
Yeah, so we teach financial literacy, which is the first step, because
Mhm.
when you know better, when you know there's a problem, you then want to find the solution. But if you don't know
Mhm.
there's a problem, you're just going to keep mistakes. That's why we have our book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker, so people can stop being a sucker with their money. Because what do banks give you? Banks give you suckers.
Right.
Specifically, they give you dumb pops.
You know the
So
bowl of lollipops they have at the to give the
Mhm.
kids. Yeah, them dum dums. Right.
yeah. So we educate people so they can stop being dum dums, being suckers. To people that know more than them about money. So, they get into all this credit card debt and loans, and the interest rates are 10%, 20%, 30%, and they don't even know what that means. All they know is they're being able to buy whatever they want, but they're not seeing the cost of it, that they're going to end up paying double or triple what the thing really costs because they used a credit card or they got a loan on it. Like a typical car, people are going to end up paying double for the car by the time they finish making their payments. And then their credit card bills, the balance on the credit card is doubling every 2.5, 3.5 years. So people need to understand that interest rates do matter. They're not paying attention to the interest rates on their loans, and they're also not paying attention to the interest rates on their savings accounts, because their savings accounts aren't even giving them 1%. And so that
Mhm.
means that their money is growing by these nickels and dimes every month, which means their
Right.
balances aren't going to double for 72 years to hundreds of years to thousands of years, basically never.
Right.
So, yeah. So, yeah. So we begin with education. And
Mhm.
so we have all sorts of classes that we teach. Like, for instance, this month is Life Insurance Awareness Month. And
Mhm.
most people don't see the value of life insurance. They just think, oh, someone gets money when I die, or it's
Right.
something to bury me. They don't realize that wealthy people and corporations and even banks buy tons of life insurance. But yet, people that don't know better, they don't. And so their family has to do a GoFundMe. But they don't realize that life insurance is a way to build wealth and to grow money with the market without market risk, and that it allows you to be your own bank, and it protects your money from creditors and lawsuits, and there's just so many benefits to life insurance they're not even aware of. So
Right.
we teach, like, that class is tomorrow. We're teaching that. We're teaching two of those classes this month. And then also we teach about saving for emergencies. We teach about planning for retirement. We teach about getting out of debt. We teach about leaving a legacy. We teach about, like, I just taught a class right before this podcast. I was teaching parents and grandparents how to set up their child's future for them to have hundreds of thousands
Mhm.
and millions of dollars tax free. So yeah, so we educate with different concepts like Rule of 72, compound interest, time value of money. And then once they've been educated, we sit down with them and do a financial strategy session. And it doesn't cost them anything for the financial strategy session. So we go over where they currently are and where they want to be, like GPS. GPS, to get somewhere, you have to know where you are and where you want to go. And then you have step by step directions. So yeah, so we are people's GPS for their finances. So we find out where they are and where they want to go, and we show them the steps to get there, which are our 7 money milestones. So our 7 money milestones, would you like to know what they are?
Please, that's gonna be my question. Yes, please, please,
So
please enlighten us on the seven money milestones.
So yeah, so number one is get a financial education by attending our classes, reading our books. Number two is having protection on your income. You know, like you have protection on your phone, your house, your car, but do you have protection on your income earning ability? Like, what if you're not able to work because you were diagnosed with cancer, heart attack, stroke, or you got in a bad car accident and now you're paralyzed or you're disabled? What are you going to do? So, you need to
Mhm.
have income protection, life insurance. You know, so that's number two. You need to have long term care. 3 out of 4 of us are going to need it at some point in our life. If we don't have it, it's going to wipe out our assets. Number three, you need an emergency fund that will give you access to 3 to 6 months of your income should you lose your job or you need to fix your car or whatever. You should have 3 to 6 months of income that you can easily access. So we actually help people with those savings accounts. They actually give a very good return too. Instead of getting less than 1%, they can get a very good percentage rate on their liquid savings account. Okay. And then that's milestone number three. Milestone number four is eliminating debt. It's very important to get out of debt because the debt is growing faster than your savings. Because oftentimes your debt has a double digit interest rate. And the higher the interest rate, the faster your balance doubles. So it's very
Wow.
important to get out of debt. So we have a debt elimination program for people that have at least 10,000 in debt. We can put them into a program to cut that debt in half and stop the interest from accruing so that they can get it paid off in a handful of years versus it doubling every 2.5 to 3.5 years.
Right.
Milestone number five is their cash flow. It's very important to have multiple income streams. So I mentor a lot of people to do what I do. Hey, it worked out for me and my son. You know, he saw the money I was making, and while he was in college, he's like, "Why am I in college? I should be doing what you're doing." And so that's what he did. So for the last 12 years or almost 12 years, my oldest son's been doing what I'm doing. And like I said, he's almost a millionaire. You know, so cash flow is milestone number five. We have a lot of people that do this on the side. You know, they're doctors. We have doctors doing what I do. We have nurses, CPAs, attorneys, engineers that do what I do on the side of their career. And they're making a very good living. And many of them are able to retire from what they're doing and just do this. Also, we look at people's budget as part of cash flow. Is looking at your budget and seeing where you're wasting your money. And so saving money in those areas is like making money. We can show you where you're wasting 200 to 1,000. I've even seen a guy that was wasting 3,000 a month, just going out to eat all the time, 3,000 a month. And then
Wow.
Yeah.
the final two milestones are number six, building wealth. We can help people set up a pension. We can also manage people's retirement, and we can open up different retirement accounts for them if they want us to. You know, like the different individual retirement accounts, solo 401ks, things like that. And the final milestone is your estate plan, your will, your trust, your healthcare directive, your power of attorney. You worked hard to have all those assets protected, but then you dropped the ball by not having a trust.
Right.
So now your family has to fight in court. So a
Right.
trust avoids probate. So if you have a trust, your family doesn't even have to go to court. So those are the 7 money milestones that we educate people with, starting with financial literacy.
That's amazing. Yes,
Yeah.
very, very important. Now, money for many is a touchy subject, especially because they feel it's more personal. They don't feel comfortable sharing their money situation. How do you and your team help those individuals who are kind of like, I don't know, come out of their shell to trust you and what you all do? What are some of the techniques to make them sure that, hey, what we're doing, this is going to help you out, you know?
Yeah, so it's just financial literacy. So that's why
Hmm.
we give it away for free. You know, so we give away we do the classes for free, we give away the books for free, and then it's all about building relationships for them to trust you. So, you know, we're not just looking at them as dollar signs. We actually
Hmm.
get to know them. You know, we get to, learn about them, their background, their family, what are their financial goals. And, it's just amazing. Once I teach people the rule of 72, and how the banks and the credit card companies are ripping them off, and how with the interest rates being so low on their savings accounts and so high on their debt, they're like, hey, help me out. And
Right.
I'm like, wait, hold up. I need to know your whole picture, your whole
Right.
financial picture, so that we're not just plugging up this area, but you got all these other areas that are messed up. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Right.
so it's just about educating them and man, when the light bulb goes off, they want help.
Right.
And also just getting to know them and what they want.
Hmm.
And then that builds trust.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Throughout this process, on average, how long would you say hitting each milestone typically takes for an individual?
Hmm. Well, milestone number one is ongoing. Like you always want to educate yourself. Milestone
Hmm.
number two, that's about a 2 week to 4 week process. Milestone number three, okay, milestone two is the insurance, life insurance. Okay, that takes like
Hmm.
2 to 4 weeks to get approved for that. Milestone number three, the savings account. That takes like 15 minutes to open up the savings account that gives a much better return than your bank or credit union. So that just takes a few minutes, and then it's just about saving regularly. As far as milestone number four, getting out of debt, depends on how much debt they owe.
Okay.
So
Yep.
they could get rid of it in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But that's better than it doubling every 2.5 to 3.5 years. So it's a process. Milestone number five, their cash flow. Looking at their budget, I mean, we can see right away where they're wasting money. So that's instantly. As soon as we meet with them, they see where they're wasting their money. Now it's up to them if they're going to take on new habits and stop being a sucker, just giving away all their money. You know, and then if they want to get into this industry, there's certain licenses that they have to get. And so
Okay.
that could take a couple of months to get those licenses. And then as far as building wealth, that takes time to build wealth and for it to compound. It's not a get rich quick.
Right.
And so, we could set up the retirement accounts. That doesn't take that long. And then the estate plan, they meet with one of the attorney offices that we set them up with, and so that can be done for them in like 2 meetings. So their estate plan could be done within a month. So yep. So it just depends on the person as far as how long it takes with the milestones. And we do annual reviews with our clients. So it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ongoing, of course. A lot of people, I know a lot of people are touchy on that estate planning because they don't want to think about
Hmm.
death. But that's definitely a big part of it because, like you said, um, you don't want to build this wealth and then, it gets wasted away because, court fees and legal fees and all that stuff because you didn't set something up for your family.
Very good. Like Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
he had $4 million when he died, but he didn't have a trust or a will. So his wife
Wow.
went to court for almost 2 years and ended up with 2.1 million. So 1.9 million was in court fees, attorney fees, and creditors and all that. And so it left her with 2.1 million that she split with his parents. So they each got $1 million instead of them each getting $2 million. Now
Right.
imagine if Chadwick would have had life insurance. If he
Mm-hmm.
would have had life insurance, she could have instantly got millions of dollars out of the policy,
Right.
instantly instead of being in court. And then
Mm-hmm.
also imagine if he would have had a trust. She would
Right.
have avoided trust and attorneys. I mean, court. She would have avoided court and attorney fees. So
Right.
Absolutely. When it pertains to life insurance, how many of them exist out there that people can consider, and what are
yeah,
they?
there's different types of life insurance, and it depends on the person. But there's
Okay.
two different categories of life insurance. There's term insurance and there's permanent insurance. So
Okay.
before I got my license 2 decades ago, different insurance agents would try to get me to get life insurance. Well, I was in my late 20s, and I'm like, I don't need life insurance. I'm only 28, 29 years old. I was thinking of the death benefit, you know?
Right.
And so
Ah,
they would try to explain it to me, term life, whole life. And I'm like, huh? I just didn't get it. But once I had to understand it to get my license, then I understood it. But basically, term insurance is for a term, it's temporary. So,
okay. That makes sense.
like for the military, the term is 5 years. So they may have 400,000, but it goes up every 5 years. And it's like, oh, now it went from 30 to 40. Okay, no big deal. But by the time they get in their 60s, they're looking at like $600 a month. And by the time they're in their 70s, they're looking at over 1,000 a month, and so because it's going up every 5 years. And
Mm.
then
Right.
for most people get a term that's like 20 years or 30 years. So it means the premium is locked in. It's the same premium for 20 years or 30 years. So term insurance is the cheapest insurance that you can get. So if you're looking like, I got all these kids in the house, if I die early, I want them to have access to money for college or start a business. Well, term allows you to get the most life insurance for the cheapest because it doesn't build any cash value, and the insurance company is betting that you're going to outlive that 20 to 30 years and they're not going to have to pay up. And
Right.
they usually don't have to pay. So you're basically just renting insurance for 20, 30 years, and then you have to re-up for another 20, 30 years, and then by the time you're in your 70s you can't afford it anymore, and so now you and your kids are shopping around for life insurance, and all you can afford is $150 a month, which will give you about 10 or 15,000 in life insurance. So that's what term insurance does for you. It's a trap.
Mm,
So, so
mm,
what you need is permanent insurance.
Right.
okay.
So permanent insurance has whole life insurance, universal life insurance, index universal life insurance, and variable universal life insurance. And we're going to go over the different types of life insurance tomorrow. We have a class on all the different types of life insurance and the
Right.
living benefits. But basically, all the policies that I just said are permanent policies that build tax-free cash value, and it's the same premium your entire life, or you can just pay for it for a certain amount of years. Like you can max fund it and be done paying for it in 10 years, but yet it goes to whenever you die, and the cash value just grows like crazy. For instance, my grandson, he was born on 123 January 23rd, and I
How
got
about that?
yeah, and so I got him a life insurance policy, and I'm just funding it for 7 years. But by the time he's my age, 48, he'll have $1 million of tax free cash value. And I only will have funded it for 7 years.
That's amazing. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Now I've heard of individuals who have certain life insurances, or from what they tell me is life insurance, where they can cash out and utilize the money right away. Is that true with that?
Yeah. So if you cash out, you're going to pay taxes. So
Okay.
you definitely don't want to cash out. So, but what you can do is you can withdraw some of the money, like the money you put in, up to the cost basis. So, for
Okay.
instance, if you put in 100,000, but there's a quarter million in there, if you take out 100,000, you're not going to be taxed on that because that's your money that you put in there.
Okay.
But if you took out the whole quarter million, well, 150,000 of that was interest, and you will pay taxes on that.
Hmm.
So the best thing to do is only withdraw up to the cost basis.
Okay.
And then anything over the cost basis, you should take it out in the form of a loan and pay yourself back. Be your
Right.
own bank, pay yourself back. So yeah,
Yes.
I
And
don't recommend cash out. I also don't recommend cash out of your 401k. Anytime you cash out of something, think taxes.
Tax.
Anytime
Crazy
you
tax.
cash out of life insurance, your 401k, lottery ticket, think of taxes and lots of them. So you never want to cash out.
Yeah.
wow. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
See,
interesting.
information that we don't know.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. And so I know you say you offer different classes. So for those individuals who want to participate in your classes, get to know more about you and your services, is there a website that they can reach out to, social media pages, etc.,
Yeah,
that you
so
can share?
I'm Ms. Moneyworks, like it says underneath my name. So
Okay.
if they type in Ms. Moneyworks on their social media, they'll be able to find me. So that's my YouTube channel where I have all sorts of educational videos. And then also they can see me posting about finances at least every other day on my Instagram and on my Facebook. And I also have a bunch of TikTok videos. And that's all under Ms. Moneyworks. That's MZ Moneyworks.
Wonderful. And so is there a calendar or a schedule available for them to see the upcoming classes and services that you're, talking on? Because I know you said tomorrow you're talking about insurance or life insurance.
Yeah.
Today you
So
spoke to parents about protecting their families, right?
yeah, so basically on my social media, it shows like my upcoming classes on my
Hmm.
Ms. Moneyworks pages. But if they ever want to meet with me on one, They could message me, like, through my Instagram, Facebook, whatever, or they can go to my calendar, which is bit.ly/book Tanisha. And the B is capitalized and the T in Tanisha is capitalized. So can I put in the chat?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
It's BIT
Absolutely.
period
And so
LY.
with regards, oh, I think the phone's is cutting out again. Let me see. Can you see me?
Yep, I can see you.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, it was cutting out on my end for some reason. Um, I think I got it right here. Let's see. Yep, perfect. Let me copy this here.
So
And
what?
so oh, go ahead, Manny.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What were we
I was
gonna
going
say?
to say regarding your rates, do you have a flat rate or does it vary based on the person's need, like working with you and growing with your team? How does it all work regarding rates
Yeah, so
for your
there's
team?
no barrier because we don't charge a fee. Remember I said that? We
Right.
educate people, we sit down with them, and we don't charge them a fee.
Right.
Right. Yes.
So
But how do you stay afloat? How does your business keep thriving and growing without money coming in? I guess it's my nutshell
so the
question.
money doesn't come from the individual.
Right.
Okay.
So when we make recommendations to get them out of debt, the company
Mhm.
that gets them out of debt pays us.
Right.
Nice.
So when they get life insurance, whoever they're paying the life insurance. When we set up their retirement account, whoever they're paying their retirement account to, they pay us. So we're
Mm-hmm.
basically the middleman.
Right. That's the
Okay.
magic. That's
So
that's. I think that's what helps people. Eases a lot of people's minds that they don't actually have to come out of pocket to pay um, the people on how money works. They get paid by the actual corporation that helps them. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little incentive. You know, I
Yeah,
think.
that's important because a lot of programs don't operate the way Miss Tanisha works. And that
Right.
was, I'm sure that's going to be a hot pressing question, like how much is it going to cost?
Right.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask that on purpose so that people can
Mm.
understand that you
Right.
don't have to pay Miss Tanisha, right? She gets paid
Exactly.
through the party based on when you sign up,
Right.
etc. So that makes sense.
All right. The only thing they have to pay for is their premiums, pretty much. Whatever whatever programs they apply for, that's what they have to pay for the installment payments or whatever.
yeah, whatever they're spending to pay off their debt,
Right.
whatever they're spending to save for their emergency fund,
Hmm.
whatever they're saving for retirement, whatever they're spending on their life insurance.
Hmm.
So it's not extra. They're not paying us any extra fee.
No.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. And sorry, Manny, I know you were going to ask a question before
I
I
was just
asked my
gonna I was
question.
just gonna ask her what's next, like besides the classes that you have coming up, like what's next for Miss Lafayette and how money works? Like what do you have coming down the pipeline in the near
Uh,
future?
Teaching others to do what I do. So right now, I'm mentoring a lot of new agents. So as soon as I get off here, I'm actually meeting with someone who's almost an assistant principal. She was the president of her county's teachers association. And so I'm mentoring her. She wants to do this because she thinks that teachers need this, nurses and doctors need this, her kids need this, everyone needs this. She also is a travel agent on the side because you can't just have just one income
Right,
stream. Plus,
exactly.
she does
Absolutely.
taxes. And so I'm meeting with her and showing her how to do this business.
That's
Teaching, she's already a teacher for like 3 decades. So, teaching financial literacy and helping them with solutions. And then I have a stay-at-home mom that I'm on Zoom with her every day. Like, she just texted me and she wants to be self-sufficient. She's tired of being a stay-at-home mom.
right,
And
right,
she wants to empower herself and have her own money. So
right.
she just got her license. So man, we're gonna be meeting like every day. And then I have another woman. I just taught $1 million baby class with her before I just met with you all.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And so I'm helping her with all the people she knows. She graduated high school about 40 years ago.
Right.
So they're all grandparents. So she's meeting with her classmates to set up their grandchildren's future.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing, just helping other people succeed in doing what I do, and that's legacy. So right now, all I think about now is legacy and retirement. That's it. So my day to day is taken care of. I don't have to worry about my day to day, like the day to day stresses of how am I going to pay my bills and your boss and all that. That's like history. Now
Right.
all
Right.
it's about is the future, legacy, and retirement. That's it. So
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Absolutely. And so when individuals work with you, is it necessary for them to go through all the pillars? Or let's say, for example, if they're like, oh, I'm not interested in which I don't understand why they wouldn't be, but I'm just, throwing this out there just in case this is a thought in somebody's mind. Like one of the pillars, life insurance or what have you, is it something that they have to do, or do you allow them to opt out of whatever it is that they may not want to work on?
we live in America, the land of the free, the home of the brave. So,
Okay. Yeah.
Free will,
So it sounds like you're not
pretty much.
necessarily forced to do everything. It's just what they
Exactly.
want.
yes,
I
what
mean, if
we
they
give the people what they want.
right, and especially
Beautiful.
if they start working with her, they're gonna
Mhm.
want to try to do all seven.
Right.
Because that's the only way to become financially free. And be able to build a wealth, a generational wealth, to be able to make sure that you're debt free and make sure you have a trust for your children, so that way they won't have to go to court, and have a retirement plan in the event that you're not making millions, because everybody's not making millions. So
Most people don't even make 100,000. Actually,
exactly.
90% of America doesn't even make 100,000 a year.
Right.
So, but to answer your question, they don't have to do everything. And like for
Mhm.
instance, I have a woman that's about to retire. I didn't give her
Mhm.
life insurance because she has a bunch of assets. She has $1 million in assets, and she doesn't think she needs life insurance. I think she should get life insurance, but she doesn't think she needed. So guess what? I didn't get her life insurance. I just
Right.
set her up with a pension and long-term care and the savings account, but she didn't think she need life insurance, so I didn't do life insurance with her, you know
Right.
so we give the people what they want.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I like about the program. It's not, oh, you need this or you need that. I'm gonna set you up with this because I feel like you need it. No, it's what we offer you, that they offer you what they have, and
Mhm.
it's up to you to figure out what you feel like you could accommodate in your life. You know?
So, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because life happens, right?
Mhm.
Shift may happen in a person's life where they're getting paid one thing and a hiccup may come and now their finances may be shaken up. And let's
Right.
say, for example, if they may not be able to afford the premiums that they initially agreed to, how does
Right.
that work overall? What happens at that point where they're no longer able to make those premiums?
Yeah, a very good question. If it's term insurance, it's cheap, so they should be able to still pay it. And I mean, just like you'll still pay your cell phone bill and electric bill and all that, I really think you should keep paying for your life insurance, because your life insurance is the bill that's going to pay all those bills. If
Right.
something happens to your health, cancer, heart attack, stroke, disability, your life insurance is what's going to step up and give you the money to pay the rest of your bills. Your
Right.
car payment is not going to pay your cell phone bill. Your cell phone bill is not going to put food on the table, but the life insurance will.
Right.
So that's my answer to that. If it's a permanent policy, though, it has a flexible premium. Now, not whole life, but the IUL, the UL, and the VUL has a flexible premium. So you can pay, like, you can drop it down to a minimum payment, or if it has enough cash value, you can let the policy pay for itself. Like during COVID, a lot of people lost their job. So we were able to get them to stop paying their premium because they had enough cash value in there for the policy to pay for itself. And oh, by the way, do you need some money? And so we were able to give them money too to help them through COVID. But it has a flexible premium, to answer your question.
Right.
Okay, beautiful. That is awesome. Yes. Well, definitely for the listeners' audience, definitely tune into Ms. Lafayette's information. She offers classes, she offers one-on-one. This is information that you can only need in life. Life happens. So be prepared when that time does come, because we just
Right.
never know. It's all unexpected.
Yeah.
Um, Anything else that you want to share with the audience and listeners of Oyendia TV?
Yeah, like everyone needs life insurance, whether it's a baby or whether it's an old person,
Mhm.
because the baby, if you get permanent life insurance, that baby could have hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. And then as far as the older person, they're going to need money to handle probate fees if they don't have a will. They're going to need
Right.
money for the funeral and all their other little bills that they don't even know about, that they're going to leave behind for someone to pay for them. So everyone needs life insurance. Plus, like I said, there's living benefits where if you get cancer, heart attack, stroke, get in a bad car accident, become disabled, or you just need money to invest in a business, or you want a tax-free income. I show people how to set up a pension through their life insurance, and the pension can pay out 4 times what they put into the life insurance. Like for instance, if they put in 100,000 over 30 years into the life insurance, but the life insurance pays you out a 500,000, you know, or you put in 250,000 and it pays you out 1 million or 2 million or 3 million, you know. So life insurance can really build wealth for you, and a lot of people don't understand that. And the money that you're spending on all this stuff to look good, and then you lose it all. Whereas
Mm,
if you put that money into life insurance, like just wow, you could have had a tax shelter where only you have access to it. Creditors don't have access to it. People suing you don't have access to it. Only you have access to it. And then your family can get to it tax free. You know, it could be a family bank. People just don't realize just the so many benefits of life insurance. So they really need to start educating themselves about life insurance. It's amazing.
right. I agree. And I'm glad you mentioned tax because that sparked my mind to ask this next question. And I remember seeing it in the questionnaire when doing taxes regarding in different types of life insurances. I assume is this tax free or just taxable? How does that
Right.
work with
Yeah.
insurance?
Yeah. Insurance is tax free. So most of our assets are taxed. So our income is taxed. Our
Mhm.
retirement accounts are taxed. Our investment accounts are taxed. Our savings accounts. 81% of our assets are taxed. So
Wow.
people need a tax never strategy. They
Hmm.
have a tax now strategy. They have a tax later, the tax deferred 401k and all that, but they
Right.
don't
Hmm.
have a never tax strategy. So life insurance is never going to be taxed. And then also there's Roth IRAs that are never going to be taxed. We do those too. However, with the Roth IRA, you can't access the funds until you're 59 and a half. But with the life insurance, you don't have to wait till you're 59 and a half. You know, like so if you're a professional athlete or a model or singer or whatever, and you have a lot of money in there and you want to have access to it and you're only 40 years old or 35 or whatever, you can have access to it without penalties. Whereas if you have it in your Roth IRA, you're going to be penalized, or your 401k or 403b or whatever, because you're not 59 and a half yet.
Right.
So peeling the onion because I'm very analytical and I want to understand how this works. And if you can't share it, I completely understand. How does that work for it not to be if a person's paying this premium towards a policy which is life insurance that's tax free, how does that behind the scenes run from a company standpoint? Do you know, like, how what makes it non-taxable? Like you said, if 81% of our assets are being taxed but this money that we're putting into is not taxed, why and how?
Because it's part of the tax code, IRC 7702. That's
Okay.
part of the tax code. Your 401k is the tax code 401. You know, section 401 of the tax code is your
Yeah.
401k. Well, section 7702 of the tax code says life insurance is not taxed and the cash value is not taxed. So,
Food for thought.
yeah, so
Oh,
it's part of the IRS tax code that life insurance is not taxed.
gotcha. Okay. All right. That's awesome. Manny, you've worked with Ms. Lafayette. I'm sure you have um, information as well. What questions do you think we should ask Ms. Lafayette that the audience may want to know that I haven't already asked?
Um, where do I sign up? That's the question. But I think you've asked a lot of the questions that most people ask. The
Oh, really?
tax, if how much is going to cost,
Mhm.
um, you know, just people are always skeptical because nowadays there's scammers out here, and a lot of
Right.
the life insurance companies out here nowadays, they are scammers as well, and they
Right.
want you to pay them, and on top of that, they get paid by the insurance company. But with how money works, it's like everything's up front. You know what I'm saying? It's just like buying a cell phone, and they tell you, okay, it's going to last this long. Your battery is this. your camera. You get all the details of the telephone. So that's pretty much what you're getting with how money works. Like you get everything up front, and it's just like a menu. You pick what you want, and then they help you with it, um, fee free. Like if you want to come in and schedule an appointment and talk about your debt and have them explain what they do and how they do it and how to eliminate your debt, they'll explain it and won't charge you for it, or have a whole session of life insurance or annuities, and they won't charge you for any of the information. It's all free. The only thing that you pay for is your premium, and that's
Nice.
what I like about the company.
Yep, and I agree that there are a lot of life insurance scams out there. Like you see the guy on TV, how much is my life insurance? $9.99. And what about me? $9.99. Everyone is $9.99. That is the biggest scam. It's like $9.99 per thousand based on your age. You
Right.
know, so it's
Right.
ridiculous, and it's
Exactly.
usually a policy that you have to live at least 2 years
Hmm.
or it doesn't pay, you know?
Right.
So, but I'm like, how can he show his face on TV and he's lying? He's lying to people.
Right. And that's
Mm.
what they do. And then when people like Miss Lafayette comes around and this is what we're offering, oh, you're just like one of those other people. You're trying to scam me out of my money, and it's not really if you actually sit down and listen to what they have to say and be in one of their team building meetings, it's like it's crazy. Like you get excited, super excited. I'm excited now, and I'm, we're just talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and then
amazing.
there's something else. There's people, I'm not going to name any names, but there's companies out there that tell people that they have life insurance their whole life or until age 95. And so you got people thinking they have whole life insurance or they have life insurance until they're 95, but they don't realize the policy says that it can be auto renewed until they're 95. But
Right,
what they don't realize is it auto renews every year to something ridiculous like a mortgage payment, and they're
right,
not going to be able to afford that in their 70s and 80s.
right,
2,000 a month, 4,000 a month,
right,
5,000, something just ridiculous. But they don't read the fine print. But they're like, "Oh, no, no, no. The person told me that my policy goes to age 95 or to age 100." Yeah, but you're going to drop it by the time you're 75 because you can't afford the premiums. So
mm,
they don't know this. So there's a lot of people that are misleading people.
right.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. That is
That's why
really unfortunate.
that's why How Money Works educates people for free, because they want people to know, even if they don't use their services, even if they go to that one class and never come back, or attend two classes and don't get anything, they at least get educated and they don't have to pay for it.
Right.
Oh, but they come back. What's funny
Oh,
is
they come back.
the teacher that I'm about to meet with, I'm actually 7 minutes late. She said that she still remembers what I told her years ago, and she wishes she would have kept the policy that I gave her.
Uh-huh.
I wrote her up on a policy, and she didn't keep it, and she got in a bad car accident, and she wishes that she would have kept that policy. And so now she's like, you know what? Everyone I know needs the policy. My son needs the policy, my daughter, all the teachers, you
Right,
know, all my travel agent clients, my tax client. She wishes she would have kept that policy. And she
right,
remembers the things that I said, or it's just ringing in her ear. So she reached back out to me on Friday. And so yeah, so I look forward to mentoring her.
right.
That is amazing. Well, we want to definitely thank you for your time and for being here
Yes.
with us. And we do
Thank
know
you.
that you have to jump to meet with a client, but I want to give you the opportunity to say any last minute words and remind the audience how they can find you, follow you, etc. So that way we can get this ball rolling and get more people educated on financial literacy.
Yeah, so I just appreciate your time, Yessia and Manny, because financial literacy is near and dear to my heart, and people just have no idea how valuable their money is. So
Yeah.
whether they make 2,000 a month or they make 10,000 a month, it doesn't matter how much money you make if you don't keep any of it.
Right,
So you've got to understand how to keep it. Like at my journalism job, I made double what my best friend made at the time 20 years ago, but she always had more money than me
Wow.
because she was always saving her little bit of money, save some of her tax refund.
Right.
Whereas me, I was like always, just spending money. I didn't understand about saving money. So it
Mhm.
doesn't matter how much money you make if you don't keep any of it. So you've got to understand how to pay yourself first and put your money in the right accounts. And
Right.
so we can actually show you how to put your money in the right savings accounts to give you a good return, how to put your money in the right retirement accounts where your money's growing with the market, but you're not losing money in the market. And we
Right.
also can protect your income. People don't think about protecting their income until they need it, and then it's too late. So yeah, but you can find me on social media. I'm Ms. Moneyworks. That's MZ Moneyworks. I'm on all the social media. Well, the main ones: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And I want to thank you for your time.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you as well. We really appreciate you and look forward to hearing more about you. And let's have
Most
you back on in
of
2025.
course.
All right, let's do it. Let me know. Bye.
Take care.
Yeah.
Wow, that
Yeah.
was
That
awesome.
was
Financial
exciting.
literacy.
That was exciting.
That was exciting. I'm so
Yes.
glad that you were able to coordinate with her and bring her
Yes.
on because it's
Because
very
everybody.
important. Many people need to understand
Yes.
financial literacy.
Yes. That's a lot of information that they give to people. People don't know. We weren't educated. And the rich people don't want to give that information out because they don't want everybody to have what they have, you know?
Right.
So, you know,
So
it's
in a
something.
way, you said we weren't educated, so it reminds me of the game Monopoly. So do you think in a way that was the start of educating us? It's just
Right,
went over a lot of people's heads.
right,
You think?
right.
Because
Exactly.
I'm sure all of us by now, hopefully, if you haven't played Monopoly, you know what it is. It's about
Right.
money. It's a money game.
Exactly. Exactly. How to save, how to keep it, and how to build on it. And it's just how to, it, that was a game to show you how to become, you know, financially stable. And a
Hmm.
lot of people just, played it their way and then played the right way,
It
you
went
know?
over people's heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
So parents with growing kids, I highly recommend if you don't already have a Monopoly game at home,
Right.
I encourage you to start your children off with playing the Monopoly game, and obviously reaching out to Miss Tanisha and Manny as well, because Manny is part
Yes.
of the financial literacy world as
Right.
well. Get more information, get educated on financial literacy because es
Yes.
muy importante, very important. Esto es de la vida, es parte de la vida. Necesitamos dinero para sobrevivir, ¿verdad?
Right.
Para seguir empujando por delante. And
No.
so I definitely recommend since it is a necessity.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Well, Manny, we're going to say our last minute words and log off
Okay.
in just a moment. So, what last minute words do you want to share with the audience and
Um,
listeners? Yes, baby.
my my last minute words resonate a little bit more now after I dealt with what I just dealt with not too long ago.
Mhm.
Don't let the fear of failure overcome the righteousness of success. I did fail, and I didn't fail because I passed the test. They just declined me because of something,
Yeah.
in my past. But I didn't let that stop me from continuing to move forward in a positive way. It was a stumbling block, I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, I sat down with myself and said, Self, you've come too far. You have to continue to keep going. Like, what are you going to do? Just sit here and wallow in the mud? No, that's not what I'm going to do. So I kept moving, and more doors opened for me. So, you know, don't let, one roadblock stop you from your ultimate goal. You know, keep moving.
Yeah.
Those doors will definitely open. You know,
Absolutely. Good advice, good feedback, and I definitely agree with that.
yes,
So I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors. You're going to see them throughout the show, little clips of
right,
the sponsors. And shout out to you all, the listeners, the audience, for your
yes,
support, for
thank
helping us grow with our platform.
you. Yes,
Anytime you have any topics, questions, etc., feel free to reach out. You can email us at oyndtv@gmail.com. If you are a business, an individual who has an interesting story, we're open. This is a bilingual lifestyle show. Hablamos de todo un poco. So there's really no limits to what we talk about because this is about life. It's lifestyle. It's de la vida.
All right. We want
We
to
all,
hear
we
from
all
you.
have some
We're
going on.
definitely interested. Definitely
Yes.
want to hear from y'all.
So please reach out to us and we thank you for your support. And like I always say, the sky is never the limit because the galaxies are endless. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hoy en Día TV. Until next
Adios.
time. Hasta
Adios.
luego.